This is the USA Cycling Race League. This is the big one. This is the one that Dave Toll announces on the live stream on the Zwft community YouTube page. I've been watching these for the last few weeks. It's a cool series. You got a lot of the big guns in here. On the start list for this one, I think I saw some of the guys from Legion. I think Corey Williams, some of the other Legion guys, Corey Lockwood, who used to be on what is that team called? Not Project Echelon. There was a team basically built around Corey Lockwood that he subsequently got himself kicked off of, but that's for another YouTube channel. So here we go. So basically, I know this one is going to be super hard. This is me jumping into a race where I know I'm definitely over my head here, and I just want to see how it goes. Like I said, I've been watching these live streams for the past few weeks, and I just wanted to see what I could do in here, and I definitely knew I couldn't win, but I wanted to see how I stack up. And quarantine is giving me kind of an interesting opportunity to, like, I probably couldn't just hop into a race with the Legion guys. I would maybe have one chance a year to do that, and I definitely wouldn't have a chance to hop in with the Legion guys and also like Ed Laverick from the UK hill climb champion. He's in here. We've got like Ben Frederick, former cyclocross, I maybe still cyclocross racer. He raced for Ritchie a few years back. The Ritchie, the frame and component company, had a really sweet custom Ritchie. He's in here. See him a little bit later. But yeah, it's a unique time with everyone being kind of pushed onto this platform, and then some of these higher level races being created and also just sort of wide open. And when I say wide open, I mean like they're just here on Zwft and you can sign up. Like there's no entry fee. I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to qualify in any way. So knowing the quality of the race and knowing how hard this was going to be, I'm pretty much going straight to the front right here. And this is a little different than some of the other ones. I am going to edit this down a little bit because, as you can see, it's like there's not much to watch right here at this moment. It's kind of all over the place. It's just this swarm. It was somewhere in here. I went back and watched the official live stream with Dave Toll on the call. Somewhere through here, they did click on my camera for a second, so you saw watching Jay Crane, which was cool. Somewhere in this tunnel, but basically just trying to stay up, ahead of the fray. So this is skipping ahead to the gravel sector, skipping ahead a couple miles. I knew I wanted to be near the front before we hit this dirt because the rolling resistance algorithm on Zwft, you don't get as much of a draft and you got to fight the rolling resistance a little bit more. And being the super small guy that I am, I think I'm like 61 kilos, I felt like I had to be up there. So skipping ahead again, this is sort of a false bottom of the climb, and this is me definitely doing too much right here. I should not be on the front. That was the actual front of the race. I don't know why it said third that whole time, but I was definitely on the front. And so this race has a climb. It has a couple big climbs, which I know, and I know those are going to be the points where it splits. And I'm not cutting just yet to show how quickly I went from the front to the back here. I hit the front and I backed off a little bit, and this is the back. I skipped ahead slightly. This is actually the start of the real climb. And I've timed this so poorly because I was on the front too early, drifted back at the exact wrong time, and now I am 99 wheels back as we truly hit the climb. And I'm not going to move forward here. I mean, the quality of this field, the quality of the climbers, it's like I'm kind of going full stick and I've moved up maybe 10 places. If I had timed that a little bit better, I knew this climb was going to be crazy, and I got to the front too quickly, and then I gave it up too easily. I think once I hit the front, I really should have done the work to stay there or I should have waited to get to the front. I mentioned earlier that Ed Laverack is in this race, British hill climb champion, legit British pro Conti rider. Climbing skills are crazy. He can do insane watts per kilo. And I've been watching him do it in these races, these USA Cycling Wednesday races. And I went back and watched his stream after the fact to see what he did, and he kind of did the opposite. Like, I was up in that 1 to 30 kind of range pretty early on, and then he was actually hanging out in the 80s. And then right here where I'm in the 80s, he had put in a big surge at the base of the climb to move up and then stayed at the front. And he really wasn't doing too much more than me up there. So now this is another spot where I don't know if this is the top of the climb. I don't know if it kicks again. Having some of that info would have really helped here, because the climb is actually gonna kick again. I'm hoping one of these guys is gonna pull this back, but just like knowing where those tops are, so I can kick over the top and get onto the tail of that group before I realize we're really descending. And here it goes back up again. So I don't know how much longer we're going up. If I had known that that was a short little 4%, I might have jumped across that gap before we start going back down again. But this is just a not knowing the course thing. A lot of these gaps I think were closable. I just didn't know which moments were those crucial moments. And skipping ahead to the top of the climb. So a lot of those points seemed like they were the top of the climb, but that was the actual top of the KOM. So my thinking now is like, okay, this is the group. I'm definitely not going beyond this group, so I should save some energy. Try to super tuck. Don't commit to it. Start pedaling again. Get out of the super tuck. Back in. I don't know how long this descent is. This is another just like not knowing the course and really paying for that lack of knowledge. Because again, a lot of these spots that will be the crucial spot, I don't know, and I'm trying again to get a little bit of the super tuck, and the group is just going away from me. I've learned since this that you want to kind of put a big surge in to get your speed up before you hit the super tuck, and so this little gap is going to be the death of me, because at speeds like this, we're doing 41 right now, and I'm getting caught by this little group, but at speeds this high, with the big group up the road rolling at 40, just for this group of 4 that I'm in to roll 40, we would have to be taking really smooth turns and going really hard. It's hard to get a speed differential to raise your speed when you're already going that fast. Like when you're going, I don't know, 26, someone can sprint and they can do hot, 30s for a second. When you're already going that fast, you just can't gain much ground. So I resign myself to this group. I'm watching them come around on the backwards facing camera so that I can latch on. And it seems crazy, but I'm getting back in it here mentally. I've got a group to race with. And what I'm doing is sort of just resetting my expectations here. There's definitely a moment where I wanted to quit, but I will say death before DNF on this one. It's really, I was thinking about this earlier. I was listening to a podcast with some people who were very into adventure riding, which adventure riding is awesome. Love that whole idea, all that kind of stuff. But what I'll say is, and these people were sort of like poo-pooing racing, and I'll mention we're about to hit the climb going the other way here. All I'm really going to do is exactly what I got to do to stay with this group. I'm obviously not going to move up a group here, and I think I'm probably one of the best sprinters here. So whoever wants to climb the hardest in this group, that's who I'm going to stay with. But these guys were kind of poo-pooing the concept of racing and it's no fun. It's just kind of a measuring contest, so to speak. And really what I have to say to that, or my rebuttal to that, would be it's all about how you frame it mentally. And for me, racing keeps me engaged because I always have objectives. I always have something to do. if I'm just going out and riding around, it doesn't feel like I have something to focus on. But if I'm racing, I've always got stuff to focus on. And like right now, I'm learning things. I definitely learned a lot about the super tuck on that descent and how it works, the mechanics of it. I'm sort of learning when I need to be at the front and when I should fall back. But even outside of like results based things like that, there's also the fact that it's for me like it's completely mentally engaging. Like I could go out on a group ride, and this is something they were saying on this podcast. I don't want to put these people on blast because I'm a fan. That's why I was listening to the podcast. But I do want to like rebut this point a little bit. One thing they were saying about racing is kind of like, oh, well, it's the same. Just you can just show up to a group, and if you want to go hard on one of these adventure rides. And the thing I'll say to that is part of what's engaging about racing is sort of the game of it. Where like, sure, I could go out to one of these group rides and just go hard, and that would be fun. Like I could go flog myself on my own, but when there's someone chasing you, that really changes the dynamic. And same thing when there's a carrot in front of you, that really changes the objective. And then even beyond just sort of that carrot and stick analogy, there's also when there's an agreed upon set of objectives or even different objectives working against each other. Like some people, depending on the race, some people might be going for KOM points, and some people might be going for sprint points, and some people are trying to set up a leader, and some people are trying to set themselves up, and those different goals working against each other sort of change everyone's strategy. Thinking about all these things is like what keeps my mind engaged, and like I think that's why I enjoy racing, whether it's Zwft or something else. Is like there's always something to be focusing on, even if it is like other people beating you. It's like giving you something to focus on, and there's always, the point that I'll make in this exact moment is that there are so many races within the race. Like at this point, I've just completely forgotten that I'm out here racing for 90th, and like this is my race. I've sort of learned that at least on this day, this is where my level is. And I'll say again, I mean, this is a group where the talent is really high. I don't feel bad about this result at all. I'm still racing for almost dead center mid-pack. It's just a pack of 178 of, some of the best people on Zwft. So maybe the middle of this group is better than winning some random race with 8 people. I mean, who knows? Regardless of like any sort of value judgment, though, I'm racing and I have stuff to focus on. So now we're coming into the closing Ks. This is my race, and I have a new objective. I have a new race within this race, and I'll say sometimes the race within the race isn't even for the finish line. Sometimes it's like, I want to stick this group over the climb, or I want to get better at, I don't know, outside, maybe cornering or like whatever. But there are so many things like quantifiable goals that you can set out and have, especially when everyone is trying to do the same thing, that you really can't do. Like I could go win the sprint on a ride where no one else is sprinting, that's easy. So right here we're coming into the final bit, and I'm want to sprint from about 0.2 out. That's like generally my sweet spot. I think I saw someone else start to light it up, and I didn't want to get caught out. Head goes down, and I have a pretty good pop here. I might have gone slightly early. I think I looked up, which was a mistake. I should have kept it stronger to the line. I think I get overhauled by someone, at the last second here, but 83rd out of 178, just a little bit better than dead center mid-pack. Happy with that, but I definitely want to try again, and I definitely learned a lot of stuff that you'll see on display in other videos. So yeah, good one. See you later.